best Korean restaurants in the US. Korea is positioning itself as one of the global leaders of pop culture. But for all the well-deserved attention K-dramas and K-pop are getting, we can't forget about the amazingness of Korean food. Korean barbecue is the most popular food outside the country, but the cuisine offers many flavors you won't find anywhere else. From hot and crispy kimchi fried rice, to the filling yet lean kimbap, which are not anything like sushi, to the perfect mix of bibimbap and the spicy goodness of dakgalbi, Korean food is heaven on a plate. Korea Garden Restaurant, Houston, Texas. Korea Garden Restaurant provides an authentic taste of Korean food. The menu mostly consists of soups and broths, which are extremely common and popular in Korea, despite what barbecue joints would have you believe. We recommend trying all the things you won't find in many other Korean restaurants. Start with Seoul, fried battered shrimp, or yeuk bakam, stir-fried pork, tofu and mushrooms. Then, get the naengmyeon, also known as cold noodles. The dish is originally from North Korea and well loved in South Korea, but not too common outside of the peninsula. Order it with hot strips of meat. The heat of the meat contrasts the cold noodles to somehow make magic happen. Daak and Bob, Houston, Texas. Translating to chicken and rice, this fusion restaurant's specialty is its Korean fried chicken. Each piece of crispy goodness is made to order and never frozen, fried twice and sauced by hand. The sauces then take it to a level that'll have you craving this style of fried chicken forever after. Other items on the menu include a variety of French fries, fried rice and bowls. Gemwa Korean BBQ, Los Angeles, California. Competition in the Koreatown of Los Angeles is tough, but Gemwa still manages to shine brighter than the rest of the barbecue diamonds. This isn't necessarily where you'll get a true Korean experience, but rather a more upscale version of the barbecue joints that are so popular in the country. For one, you won't cook the food yourself. And for those not familiar enough with Korean barbecue, this is definitely a positive. But when it comes to flavor, the generosity of banchan, side dishes, and the delicious sides that include a basically perfect kimchi soup, Gemwa is as authentically Korean as it gets. Jiju Noodle Bar, New York City, New York. In South Korea, the gorgeous volcanic Jeju Island is renowned for its distinct cuisine. At Jiju Noodle Bar, Chef Douglas Kim brings the culinary traditions of the island and mixes it with those of the mainland and of countries around the world. The restaurant has a Michelin star and its specialty is ramyeon, of which we'd recommend gochu ramyeon, made with healthy pork bone broth. Sarasan, San Francisco, California. If you love a good fusion restaurant that is unpretentious yet high quality, stop by Sarasan when you visit Fisherman's Wharf District. The restaurant is named after a mountain that is not too far from Seoul, where Chef Nick Yoon grew up. Yoon brings a perfect mix of Korean and American food, using locally sourced organic ingredients as much as possible. Go for brunch and skip the Western version, going instead for Korean brunch. If you dine here during lunch or dinner, you'll also have your pick of amazing dishes like kimchi fried rice, Korean fried chicken and the enhanced ramyeon, which will most definitely spice up your life. Tomu Kun Korean BBQ, Ann Arbor, Michigan. Tomu Kun is really two restaurants in one, a Korean barbecue joint and a noodle bar. The experience you get and where you sit depends on which dish you want to enjoy. The barbecue part is more strictly Korean, while the noodle bar also uses elements from Japanese ramen. Either way, the food is delicious and the ambience is perfect. Jinju Thai, Chicago, Illinois. This modern Korean food restaurant is sleek in its design and purposeful in its dishes. The menu has plenty of traditional food for those who want something classic, but there is an exciting hint of global flavors that delight diners seeking new tastes. The samgyeopsal, or pork belly, is delicious, served with non-traditional Brussels sprouts and beets, as is the pajeon, a savory scallion pancake. If you want to try something very common in Korea but that usually doesn't make it onto American menus, order the domi, spicy fish that Jinju serves battered and accompanied with mushrooms and baby carrots. Jewel, Thai, Seattle, Washington. Jewel is more heavily inspired by Korean flavors than a strictly Korean restaurant. In fact, you'll find elements of other Asian cuisines as well as Western fusion. To celebrate this fusion, try the Galbi burger. For more adventurous eaters, the beef tartar salad is the best choice for a starter. Trust us, raw meat is much more delicious than you think. Seoul Spice, Washington, D.C. Seoul Spice sells itself as Korean comfort food and specializes in bowls. First, you choose your base, which can be rice, noodles, kimbap or salad. Then, you add your choice of protein, veggies and restaurants. It's definitely not traditional Korean, but a delicious, convenient and affordable twist on the bowl craze. Love Korean barbecue. New York City, New York. There are 1,001,000 barbecue places in New York City, but Love Korean Barbecue has set itself apart from other Koreatown places by having a truly unique vibe. More than a barbecue place, the restaurant feels like a nightclub, which in New York City somehow really works. Barbecue is, of course, the star of the night, though you'll also be able to order other typical dishes like bulgogi and bibimbap. For appetizers, take the road less traveled and get the stir-fried octopus or the truffled eggplosion, which serves steamed eggs with mozzarella cheese and truffle oil. Jungseek, New York City, New York. With 2 Michelin stars to its name, Jungseek is the place in New York for high-end Korean food. The restaurant serves modern Korean, taking inspiration from several parts of the world and somehow making them work with traditional Korean cuisine. A minimalist signature menu states simply the main ingredient for each dish: scallop, octopus, lamb, apple. Despite the lack of information, we assure you you're in good hands. Anything you order will be delicately served and taste heavenly. Rangak, Garden Grove, California. Fusion is great, but if you want to try something close to what you'd find in Korea, we recommend Rangak. Though mainly barbecue, you also have several options for trying many other different foods, including several buckwheat noodle dishes, soups and seafood dishes. If you need proof that this is the real deal, you'll be happy to realize once you walk in that most of the customers are Korean. Soong Galbi, Los Angeles, California. If you believe hole-in-the-one restaurants are the best restaurants, Soong Galbi is for you. The Los Angeles establishment is located next to a laundromat and puts more importance on the quality of its barbecue than on its aesthetics. This can make you feel a bit closer to Korea. Though pork is the most used meat for Korean barbecue, ordering beef is definitely worth it here. Chico, Washington, D.C. Can't decide between Chinese and Korean? Neither can all D.C. residents who love Chico. Bringing together 2 of the most delicious cuisines in the whole world, Chico serves you orange-ish chicken along with kimchi stew. For a delicious dinner, order the pork and kimchi pot stickers. Gemwa Korean Restaurant, Anchorage, Alaska. If you want to go beyond Korean barbecue and into the wonderful world of everything else the country's gastronomy has to offer, Jinju is a great place to do so. The No Frills restaurant serves authentic Korean food in a relaxed setting. Enjoy lots of banchan with your tteokbokki, Korean rice cakes with spicy sauce, bibimbaps and soft tofu soup. Or go for the very interesting but delicious spam army stew.